Today is Wednesday, March 6th. We're talking about R. Kelly's first and emotional interview since he was charged last month, and a new record at the U.S. Mexico border. Plus, what to know about measles vaccines, a newly approved depression treatment, and Steven Spielberg's new mission. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. We start today with R&B singer R. Kelly defending himself on camera in a new interview today with CBS This Morning anchor Gayle King. And R. Kelly gets emotional. He cries, curses, and begs for people to believe him. He denies the sexual assault allegations against him and says he's fighting for his life. It's his first interview since he was charged last month with 10 counts of sexual abuse. Time reports 4 women say they're victims, and 3 of them say they were underage at the time of the abuse. Kelly has pleaded not guilty. The U.S. has set a record for the most arrests of migrant families crossing the U.S. Mexico border within 1 year's time. And the Wall Street Journal says the record was set within just 5 months. Top border enforcement officials say government facilities are full and agents are overwhelmed. One top official even said the system is at a, quote, breaking point. The White House is highlighting these new numbers, saying it shows there really is a crisis at the border and a need for a border wall. But others say a wall just wouldn't work. Most of the migrant families turn themselves in to law enforcement seeking asylum, fleeing violence in their home countries. But that's pretty complicated because holding facilities aren't meant for kids. They don't have the room or the medical supplies. It looks like North Korea may be back at it. NBC News reports new satellite photos show North Korea restoring a missile launch site, one that the country at least claimed it was getting rid of. The photos are from 2 days after President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met in Vietnam last week and could not make a deal. Some experts say it looks like a step back in terms of any progress toward denuclearization. Also overseas, police are investigating a terror plot in London, trying to find the people involved and the reason they did it. CNN says 3 explosive devices were found near major London hubs, small packages near Heathrow Airport, London City Airport, and Waterloo train station. One burst into flames when it was opened, but thankfully no one was hurt. Well, here's an issue everyone can get behind: preventing veteran suicides. This week, President Trump signed an executive order to create a new task force to deal with the epidemic. The goal? Lower the suicide rate among military vets and get state and local groups to raise awareness. Fox News reports about 20 veterans die by suicide every day, a rate 1.5 times higher than those who have not served in the military. The order issues grants to community programs working on this issue. So far, it's not exactly clear how much these grants will cost, and Congress will have to give the thumbs up for that part of it. The U.S. federal deficit keeps getting bigger. In other words, the U.S. is spending more money than it's bringing in. And so far this budget year, that difference is at $310 billion. A new report from the Treasury Department this week shows that in the first 4 months of fiscal year 2019, the deficit is 77% higher than the same time last year. Why? Business Insider says it's because federal spending is up by 9% and money coming in from taxes is down by 2%. Remember, the new tax law cut the corporate tax rate. By the way, credit card debt in America is now higher than it was during the financial crisis of 2008. Bloomberg says as of December, credit card debt hit a record $870 billion, the highest it's ever been. Another new long-term study found the measles vaccine does not cause autism. And this one is being called one of the largest studies on this topic. USA Today reports researchers from Denmark studied more than 500,000 children for a decade. Some were vaccinated and some were not. After 10 years, there was no sign of increased risk of autism for the children who had the vaccine. And at the same time, the World Health Organization has said people choosing not to vaccinate their kids is actually a global health threat. The issue has lawmakers talking. In fact, an Ohio high school senior is getting a lot of national attention for sharing his story. He testified on Capitol Hill that he got vaccinated against his mom's wishes, saying parents are being told a lot of bad information. NBC News reports some lawmakers say it's time for the government to do more. But others are against requirement, saying parents and kids should have the freedom to choose if they get vaccinated. The FDA just gave the official thumbs up to a new type of treatment for depression, and millions of Americans might benefit. CBS News says it's the first depression drug to get the FDA's okay since drugs like Prozac got approval back in the 80s. Esketamine is meant to be taken as a prescription nasal spray, and it's meant for people who don't already see results from other types of depression treatments. The New York Times says 1/4 of the 16 million American adults dealing with depression fall into that category and could benefit. Of course, there is still a risk of side effects and the potential for abuse. A famous movie director is picking a fight with Netflix. Steven Spielberg says he's working to get Netflix booted from next year's Oscars, as in not even eligible to be nominated for some categories, like the biggest one, Best Picture. Spielberg will pitch the changes to the Academy's board next month. But the AP says there's plenty of pushback in Hollywood. Some people are pointing to how Netflix has been an important supporter of minority filmmakers and stories, especially in awards campaigns. Remember, the Oscars last month was the first time a Netflix film, Roma, was nominated for Best Picture. And it seems Netflix already has big hopes for Best Picture in 2020. Stay tuned. The wealthiest person in the world, once again, according to Forbes, is Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon. Then Microsoft founder Bill Gates, then Warren Buffett. But overall, the combined wealth of the world's billionaires is down from last year by about $400 billion. I know, don't you feel bad for them? Well, this is actually only the second year in a decade the number of billionaires and their total worth went down. The stock market and a slowing global economy are likely the reason. It's Ash Wednesday, which means you may see Christians, especially Catholics, wearing a smudge of ashes on their foreheads as part of the tradition. Ash Wednesday marks the first day of Lent, where many Christians will give up something for the next 40 days leading up to Easter. Of course, many people give up things they love, like chocolate, alcohol, even social media. But the Washington Post says some churches on the East Coast have a new idea. Give up the use of plastics, like shopping bags, straws, and single-use water bottles. They say you'll be giving up convenience and doing something good for the planet. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to read more about any of the news stories we talked about, just check out today's show notes. Go to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning. I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.